Welcome to the Marvel Alliance podcast, where we cover anything and everything to do with the Marvel Universe. From the comics, TV, and movies, we will go from the Mojoverse to Earth 616 to the Quantum Realm in order to bring the Marvel Universe right to you. I'm the man without fear, Chris.
I'm your friendly neighborhood Brent.
Alliance Assemble. Volume 146. We have a new trailer as we march towards Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So it's a good night for us. Brent, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I was listening to you and Joe and Clay talk about all your comic reading challenge you did last year, and I was like, you know what? I should do it. I should just keep track of what I read. Nowhere near as many as you guys. Not even close.
That's okay.
But I think I'm going to target the 300 range, I think.
Okay.
Because I think that's doable. That said, I need to pick up the pace a little because we're on day 12 and I've only read 6.
Hey, as I told you, I said it's your goal. It's whatever you think you can achieve. So if you need to modify that, it's okay. It's your goal.
What's funny is one of those I've read is Marvel Zombies. I read it, I'm counting it. And Spider-Man's on the cover of that. The other 5 are all Spider-Man books.
Well, like, I didn't even like
we'll branch out a little, but not yet.
This year, I'm including the weeklies I read because I didn't even include those last year, and I was like, man, I technically read more than what I made, so now I'm gonna include everything.
I started taking screenshots of them all because that was less annoying to me than writing them down to keep track. And so I'll run it through my ranking thing that puts a number and tells me how many there are. So I just have a photo album with them right now. I'm up to 6, but we'll see where I'm at in like a month. And I bet you I'm only at like 8.
Well,
I need to prioritize it more. How have you been?
I'm doing good. You know, we both shared a fun little thing. As for those of you on YouTube, we have 3 other individuals joining us. We have 3 Peters joining us in Funko form.
We got our Funkos finally. You know,
we got our Funkos.
They delayed it, and we've been texting each other like, nope, mine hasn't shipped yet. Mine hasn't shipped yet. David, I know you're listening. Yours hasn't shipped yet, or at least you don't have it yet. I know it. It's coming soon.
Have faith, David.
It's coming soon. But I have it. I need to take them out of their boxes, and I will. I need to take the time and do a little bit of rearranging with some other recent ones I got, like my Kyle Rayner, the best Green Lantern. I said it. And so I need to rearrange some of that stuff.
Yes, I said it when it came in. I am not a Funko fanatic by any stretch of the imagination, but when this came out, if I can't go deep diving into sideshow statues, this works for me.
You know, I'm up to about 30 of them. Ooh. Counting like the 3 I have at work. I think maybe 27, 28, 30. I didn't used to buy them either. So you've you've broken the seal, you've popped the cherry, whatever phrase you want to use. I think you're going to start buying more.
No, I've kept pretty good. Like the only other ones I have were 2. I'm a Rick and Morty fan, so I've got 2 versions of Pickle Rick and the Batman Beyond Funko that came in the Blu-ray special edition at that point. I haven't seen
that, but that's cool.
So, and then we've got the finale suit coming towards us whenever that decides to ship. So, I mean, I'm pretty good. I appreciate there are some Funkos like maybe this one, maybe there might be a Spider-Man 2099. When
yeah, there will be.
That might be something I can get behind. But yeah, so I enjoy it. So, but yeah, good week. You know, we start exams tomorrow, and so we got a week of exams ahead of us. So a little bit of a easing into before we get into next semester. So, but yeah, so we got a trailer. Oh, David, live update from David.
It just arrived. Excellent. I'm a little disappointed you didn't text me that, but I'll take this as well. This will work for me. That's excellent. I'm glad to hear
there you go. Well, since we got a trailer, we've got some very Doctor Strange news focused once we get to the news at that point. But yeah, so let us get through all the show plugs. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network with 8 shows covering the wide range of geek and nerdom. To see the full schedule, check out the show notes below and subscribe to the Geek Ultimate Alliance on Twitter at GWAPod Network so you know when all the shows drop. We also have a Patreon, so if you want to throw a couple of shekels our way, we've got 2 tiers. As our $1 tiers, our tip jar to say, hey, you think we're doing a good job, and then our $5 tier with ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive shows, including our show, We Can Watch This All Day, the Marvel Alliance MCU Rewatch, 12 episodes up there, and Brent, we're getting ready to record episode 13. And what is that going to be?
We're recording it on Monday.
Yes.
And have you done your homework yet?
Homework will be done on Saturday night.
Okay. I find
It would have
that
been done
acceptable.
Friday, but network stuff, as we will get to very shortly, is
That's right.
is bumping that.
I deem that acceptable, and
Yes.
my wife and I we did our homework last Saturday, so I'm ready to talk a little Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah, so one that is one might consider a sophomore slump, but I'm not one of those. I do see the problems, and we'll probably discuss the problems, but there's some great scenes in it. So
Oh yeah, I'm an apologist for that movie, with about the exception of like one storyline that doesn't bug me the way it bugs other people, but I won't defend it either. So, we'll save that for Patreon. We'll save that.
save that for Patreon. So we want to thank our patrons. We cannot do this without your support. So I hope you enjoyed all that content besides our show. You got the DC Alliance boys for doing their DC through the years. You got Katie breaking down with her husband all the canon, non-canon Star Wars comics. So a lot of great stuff out there. And but if you can't join us on Patreon, we totally understand. If you want to rate and review the Marvel Alliance solo feed and the GUA feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, all those lovely podcatchers, we greatly appreciate it. And last but certainly not least, we want to thank our official sponsor, OrganicPriceBooks.com, for your omnibus hardcover collected edition needs. JP and the crew at OPB have got it going on with excellent customer service, immaculate packaging, ships around the world. You got about 3 more days to lock in these pre-order prices for all these lovely Marvel Omnis. So again, use that code MarvelGUA at checkout for $2 off every single order, and we want to thank them for being our official sponsor. All right, so a little bit of last-minute network updates. Again, we said this last week. It officially starts next week. Next week, Walk Through the Multiverse will be moving to Wednesdays, starting next Wednesday, January 18th. They will be going weekly, so Joe will be covering The Last of Us, which premieres this Sunday, January 15th. The Animation Nation, Travis Hines' show, will be moving to Saturdays for the duration of The Last of Us. So, and I like how he's calling it. To think of it as Saturday morning cartoons, because he is going through X-Men, the animated series right now. So, again, nice little switch. We help each other on the network. Mm-hmm. And then, if you're watching this live tomorrow night, if you're listening to this tonight, the GUA crossover for January starts off. We're doing 2 this month. This is the start of it. We will go live on Friday, this Friday, at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I will be there. Brent will be there. I think Hines is showing up. I'm not sure about a few others. For Hines. What's that?
Late night for Hines for us to be starting.
It late night for Hines, but again, he's doing this like we do this for the people.
Trooper. For the people, that's right.
For the people. So, but yes, it will be. So again, patrons, look out for that link that'll be posted in the on the Patreon, so that way you can join us in the conversation, join us live in there, and then anyone who's not patrons, you can join us in the chat, and we will be talking about everything going on in the geek world. So check that out tomorrow or tonight at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, so Ant-Man and the Wasp, our second trailer. They're not deeming it a final trailer. This might be the final trailer you and I break down.
It's the finest one I'm talking about. The final one for me. Like,
okay, we will call this the final trailer for us. But just first, kind of high-level thoughts. What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed this. The thing that I wanted out of this trailer, well, one, just to get my literally my only negative out of the way, I just wanted to hear the line that we heard about.
The line still wasn't there,
but if it's in the final movie, there's a part of me that will appreciate not hearing it until the movie. Mm-hmm. So regardless, move that aside. What I really wanted was more of Kang. I just wanted to see a little bit more of Kang. We got a hint of the story. I think I can give you the super high level. I can't give you the specifics, which is fine with me. Got a hint of the story. They confirmed a character for us that had been heavily basically leaked and rumored. It was a good trailer, and dang, does Kang look good, man. I like Kang. They just, oh my gosh, he looks so good.
I mean, again, we said it the last time that we saw, it's like, oh my gosh, they are actually going comic accurate as all get out for Kang. I mean, there's explanations for the scars. I've gotten information on of what the scars are about. Just the whole idea. I mean, I've got theories. I know it's not my week for fact or fiction, but next week here's a preview for mine. All mine are this based on this trailer kind of focused. All of them are Ant-Man and Quantumania focused.
Good deal. Good deal.
So I hopefully nothing majorly comes out that ruins them, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. But yes, this is as we said it last time, this is gonna be a very different tone. There's probably like an Ant-Man movie, and Paul Rudd's character Scott Lang's kind of a jokester. This one you do not get that impression. This is very much a reckoning that's going to be happening for the Ant-Man and the Wasp family.
Yeah, this trailer is a bit more serious than the first one. There's nobody calling him Spider-Man in this one, and I remember hearing stories about Peyton Reed wanting this movie to be more than just the palate cleanser that the first two were really kind of used as. Immediately following Age of Ultron for the first one, immediately following Infinity War for the second one. This one doesn't have that, right? Like, yes, it is radically different than Wakanda Forever that came before it, but it's not the palate cleanser effectively of a phase that the other two were used as. And so they're writing a big check. Like, they're making big promises with this. Let's see if they can deliver. I, of course, have faith in them. And the fact that they're doing Kang so accurately is just unreal. I shouldn't be surprised at this point in the costumes we're seeing, but here we are. I'm surprised again.
Yeah, and again, this is starting off phase 5. This is the kind of the beginnings of our quote unquote, even though we're calling this 4, 5, and 6 the multiverse saga, this really kicks it off into high gear. And man, I mean, there's going to be some pretty hard feelings and possible some losses on this one. So let's cue it up. So as always, if you're watching, it's going to be in this kind of size, no sound, but we will definitely be pausing it. So as we open the trailer, we get a shot of San Francisco where, again, Ant-Man has taken place and also Shang-Chi has taken place. And we get narration from Jonathan Majors, who is playing Kang, saying, Scott Lang, you're an interesting man. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter. You have you have lost a lot of time like me. We can help each other with that.
So, okay. When he says you've lost a lot of time, like me, like we've lost time, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that this Kang knows that, like, for a while, He Who Remains was the only variant out there?
Well, I have some theories on that. It doesn't break into my fact or fictions, but based on what He Who Remains, he was the one that's basically been putting all this stuff in a loop, So one of two things, and I'll hold off what I think. There are two theories I have who this Kang is at that point and why he's in the quantum realm. There are two theories, so I'll hold off on that. But no, that's an interesting point.
Okay.
We see some Cassie, have a daughter. All right, so we see Cassie coming out of a jail cell, and she's kind of looking, obviously different actress than last time. She's dressed kind of in a kind of a punkish kind of getup at that point. So when I see this, it's almost like, okay, is she going to a life of crime like her father, or what I think, of a generation that she is? Could she been arrested due to a protest? Trying to look out for the little guy, as it were.
I don't know what this says about me. I just assumed it was more of a crime thing like her father, but you're right. Like, with this generation and stuff, it would not at all surprise me if it was more protest related. It's definitely believable.
Yeah. But yeah, some background on Kang, just reviewing it at that point. So, Kang is one of the greatest villains of all time for the Avengers. In the comic, Kang's origin was recently redone in Kang the Conqueror, Only Myself Left to Conquer. In it, a young Nathaniel Richards traveled back to the past to explore, due to his future being at a standstill. It's a utopia. He's bored. Every humanity and technology have come so far that people don't really advance and progress. So he traveled back and it's here that he encountered a future version of himself in Kang. It goes into him trying to stop his older version. In doing so, he ends up becoming him. He would then watch as he comes across himself as a boy, and it created a loop in which he was constantly pushing his younger self down a path of conquering. And he traveled back so many times, he created so many versions of himself. This is what He Who Remains was talking about. This was what the multiversal war was beginning in his time. And after the multiversal war, this is one theory I have. This version of Kang escapes to the quantum realm, which exists outside of time and space, so the timeline corrections that He Who Remains does not affect him, but he's also unable to travel out, or else he'll fade away. So he's waiting there, biding his time to find a way out. That's one theory I have.
It makes sense. It makes sense. I don't want to comment on how valid I think it is yet, but it definitely, it's plausible for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, excuse me. So we see Scott looking in. We're not sure if it's a jail cell. Okay. This device here. So in the first trailer we saw, it's, well, going back, even before we even go back, we've mentioned before, Scott is cashing in on his fame. We see that early on. We see him walking down the red carpet.
And
we've seen
there was like the podcast that they talked about Miss Marvel.
Yep.
We're definitely getting like hints of that, of him cashing in on it.
And in Wakanda Forever, in the ticker, he's also promoting his book. What was it? Look Out for the Little Guy.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
So this is a big part of, even though he's cashing in on his fame, he's leaving friends, family behind, because he's finally hitting it big. He's never hit it big, and that's going to be something. So, I think, again, her coming out of the jail cell, I think, remember how Kang saying you've lost time? We know he's lost time with his daughter. He lost also 5 years from his daughter. So even though they might have come together, I'm sensing maybe there's some sort of estrangement too, between them.
Yeah, I could see that. Like she could feel like she was abandoned because he left. Obviously, in Endgame, we didn't see that reaction from her, but you could see that kind of thing develop where it's like, well, you chose to be a superhero and you were then lost for 5 years after you chose to be a criminal and you were in prison while she was growing up, right? It's all very, very plausible from that standpoint that like she could be, at the very least, agitated with him over this.
And also that this Kang might be offering him another reality to go to where none of this had happened. He didn't lose 5 years. He may have never become Ant-Man. He may have not been a criminal. Offering that, I mean, that's a tough thing, as he says, tough thing to turn down. Now, this device, this is coming from more information that came out of the D23 or the SDCC showing of the trailer that had more footage. This device is something that Cassie made during the 5 years of absence, trying to get to her father. So this is where this device is coming from. But the question is, that blue orb is coming from somewhere else in the quantum realm. That's coming from Kang, because you see later on all of his ships and stuff like that have this kind of glowing blue with it. So it would be interesting to see, she may have designed it, but who else? Did she have help? Did she have someone like an agent of Kang coming out there? You know what I mean? Trying to befriend her, trying to help her along.
I could see that. I could see that for sure.
So, so as we continue on, we get everyone getting sucked in to the quantum realm. We get I love it. He says, "I'm a man who can give you the one thing you want." Oh, God. You got to love the mask coming off like that, and his eyes still kind of containing that blue energy.
I watched that shot several times, and I'm wondering if he's going to offer him more time with his daughter. If he offers to like go back and change time. I wonder, like, because Scott was so influential in starting the time heist in Avengers Endgame, I wonder if he's going to say, like, to Kang, like, time travel doesn't work that way or anything, like, as a reference to Avengers Endgame, just to have Kang flex on him and say, well, no, it doesn't work that way for you guys, but as the master of time.
and it's one of those things that, Scott's not been the type of person to make a lot of sacrifices. He's going to have to make some sacrifices in this one that he may have not ever thought if he had to do. It's kind of like, when Cap is challenging Tony in Avengers 1, what are you?
You're right, though, because while he has lost things, it's all been done to him. Right? Like, he did not sacrifice his daughter. She was taken. He did not sacrifice by going to jail. It was done to him. I mean, I guess you can make an argument there because he was being a criminal, but you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't like Tony sacrificing when he let himself take the snap.
We got the Marvel Studios and the Kang, so we get another look at Chronopolis. I'm assuming it's going to be called Chronopolis. We may be getting a different name. You never know.
We'll call it Chronopolis until we hear otherwise.
Yes, so we hear Janet saying, chime in that Kang can rewrite existence, shatter timelines, and he cannot be trusted.
Yeah, then right after that, the shot of the two.
Yep.
The two polar, and all I see when I see it is like, oh, look at us, here we are. You know, that clip.
I know, yeah. But who would have thought we got here? Not me.
Not me. But it is cool. Like, it's going to be fun to see, like, him deal with, like, different versions of himself, because he's not somebody that we saw that. We didn't see a past version of Ant-Man in Endgame. So, like, for him, this will be the first time experiencing that.
Well, especially, like, okay, if you remember back to the first trailer, we saw like like these 3 stars or 3 kind of shots across the sky, and like this other figure looking up. I was kind of thinking about that as leading to my other theory, where what if, that figure it was a flashback and that was Janet, and looking up, those streaks across the sky, what if that was Kang breaking into the quantum realm? What if this was him crash landing after possibly going through realities and crash landing into the quantum realm, and he's stranded there, and when Janet goes to help him, they end up trying to help each other, but then Janet finds out what he's trying to do and what he's done in conquering worlds, and that's why she's like, I know what he's trying to do. I know what he's trying to get at. He tried to use me to help either repair ship, to get out of here, to continue his quest to conquering worlds. That's my other theory that could have happened as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. It certainly tracks.
And so when she doesn't help him, or when she does something that strands him there, that's when he starts building up this world in order to, again, biding his time, trying to find other people to do his bidding. So continuing on. Okay.
Oh, look who's in the background there.
Yeah, look who's in the background.
Well, full disclosure, I didn't see that the first time watching the trailer. I was very focused on Kang.
Very focused on Kang. But yeah, right in the background there, we get our first look at MODOK.
Yes. And
yes, MODOK. Mechanized
they did it.
Organism designed only for killing. In the big head. And everyone's like, how are we going to do this? Is it going to be ridiculous? Well, MODOK's ridiculous looking to begin with, but we see the screen, and it's a big head of who?
Darren Cross. There's like you get a better shot of it later, but there was this leaked like armored version of MODOK, right?
Yes.
Looks more like robot
Funkos.
From Funkos, yes. Effectively, let's just call it what it is. It's like an Iron Man suit for MODOK is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was going to be it. And I was fine with it. I was fine with that change, but I love that they did this. Even if this is only one of those things where it's like, one scene you get your call out to it and that's it, and the rest of the time it's in the Iron Man looking suit. I love that they are doing this. It is great.
Oh, yeah.
And it totally fits now phase 5, but phase 4 prior to that, just leaning in heavy to the ridiculous comic book stuff.
But again, like, people say, oh my God, it looks so ridiculous. Again, MODOK is ridiculous. He's a ridiculous looking character. I mean, it's not even, in the comics, it's not Darren Cross. It's George Tarleton. And there's been a number of different canon, non-canon reasons. It goes from disease to growing his brain too big, doing an experiment of AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, which we got introduced to in Iron Man 3. So, seeing it, like, actually seeing in that screen, I was like, okay, we're going that ridiculous, and then we're going to go the armored up. Now, remember what happened to Darren Cross in the first Ant-Man movie. We don't know. We can maybe guess this is an evolution of Darren Cross, who was defeated at the end of Ant-Man because he was sucked in the quantum realm when Scott damaged his suit, and you saw how he was kind of basically crushed in at that point. So basically now we know into the quantum realm, this was maybe the result of what Scott ended up doing to him when he made it in the quantum realm. This is how he maybe be lived. So I mean, maybe this is like what's left of his suit and what is the Yellow Jacket suit, and that it's been altered so that he can survive in the quantum realm in his new state.
And just, excellent timing here. Ant-Man 1 is next month's Patreon movie. That's next for us.
That's synergy.
Just it's just perfect timing. And if you only had time to watch one of them, I would argue watch that one to get more of Darren Cross, to remind of Darren Cross. I know some people are going to say, go for you got to get Janet, but I mean she's not in that movie very much, right?
Oh, yeah.
So she's not in. But really, ideally, you got to watch both. You got to watch. But like for me personally, I want to watch them both and the final episode of Loki again. Like that's my Ant-Man homework. But I still got to figure out how to make that happen without my wife knowing for sure what movie is next. Because she still doesn't know. But I told her she may just not get to do the rewatch with me. I may be on my own.
Well, Corey Stoll is back. I'm a big fan of him. He's a great actor at that point. So I'm glad we get to see him come back in this role. I'm looking like how it's going to be in there. And again, we'll pause it later on to see when the quote unquote the armored up MODOK at that point. So Scott saying, I don't care who this man is. I just lost so much. He's going to give us a second chance and he's going to take it. So we see him kind of jumping in. So on February 17th, we see them flying on this creature again, like we saw in the first one. All right. This is kind of a cool shot. As we see later on, like ants do this, they will stand on top of each other to create a column up. And what these are a whole lot of different Scotts. Now, the question is are these, I've seen some different things from different people. One big shout I want to make, friend of the show, Ryan Airy from Screen Crush. If you want to know more and deep dive more into Kang's, prior history in the comics, he does a great job on his breakdown of this trailer. He spent a lot of time talking about Kang. Go check out his channel, check out that breakdown, because if you want to know a lot about Kang, go down that rabbit hole. He does a great job breaking it all down. But there's a lot of different things going on. Are these Scott, different variations of Scott at different times? Or I've heard these are all Scotts that have the same task from different Kangs, that they're all trying to reach this thing. And what this thing has been supposed to be, he has tasked him to get what's known as the Forever Crystal. The Forever Crystal will allow him to basically, if I'm written this down right, it'll allow him to travel through the multiverse and go to different worlds, which may be a ship he's powering up to escape the quantum realm. And because we do see him at a moment, Scott's going to hold one of his Ant-Man shrinking devices. And so what this could be is, this be the quantum nexus, the center of the quantum realm where time and space come together? And this could be what he's going after for Kang.
I could see it. I'm a little stuck on that idea of these all being different versions of Scott that all got the same job, the same task given to them.
Or as he's making different choices, they start splitting. And so we have not seen too much of Wasp outside of just scenes. We haven't seen much speaking. I don't think we've heard any of her speak in this movie. Or in these trailers, excuse me.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I almost said yes, but then I realized you didn't mean Janet, you meant Hope.
Yeah, that's what I meant, Hope. Sorry. So he's apologizing. You may not want to watch this. Cassie being taken away. We had a deal, so it sounds like someone's going to break a deal with Scott. Probably Kang.
No, you mean they're not all on the up and up? I'm shocked.
It looks like they're going to be some epics there. Oh, there we go. Let's bask in the glory of that is MODOK.
I mean, I like it. It's ridiculous, but it works for me. And admittedly, I like it even more knowing that that is a helmet and we do still have like the comic looking MODOK underneath there.
And especially if you were watching this in better quality than the smaller thing, like right here, if you're watching on YouTube at that point, the little voice box like animation to see his speak patterns. So
Like the whole, I'm into the whole thing. MODOK is always absurd. Sometimes he's played for a joke. Sometimes he's more menacing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally struggle to be menaced by him because he's so ridiculous.
Yep.
But regardless, we are at a point where they're bringing a live action MODOK to screen. Unreal.
Yep. So Kang and Scott are be fighting.
Kang, like, out of his armor there too.
Oh yeah. He's lost part of his armor on his
Not
arm
that he
too. I mean,
probably needs it for Scott, but still.
And I'm sorry, Jonathan Majors. He's at this point. He's in the middle. He's filming this. He's doing Creed 3, so he is jacked up. Like he is. I mean, when he says he's going to be facing Warrior Kang, he'll be facing Warrior Jonathan Majors at that point.
Yeah, he just needs one of those arms to take him out. To Scott's in trouble. Let's call it what it is. Scott is in trouble.
Yeah, Kang saying you thought you could win, and Scott doing his version of "I can do this all day."
Yes,
basically saying I don't have to win.
Say it. Part of me wants to hear it.
We just have to lose.
But that's a great line. In the comics, traditionally Kang is somebody who can like go toe to toe with Captain America on a hand to hand fighting scale. I don't see how Scott survives. Right? Like I know some people don't think he will. I just right now I'm like. Maybe something happens to work in his favor, but like if it is really just the two of them, I don't see how he survives. So
True.
hopefully,
on a power
Cassie
level, you're right.
or Hope or someone steps in to do something. Maybe Hank will sacrifice himself instead. If you're gonna kill Ant-Man, kill the original, whatever. But like right now, I'm like I'm sorry, Scott Lang is no Captain America. So how is he gonna hold up to Kang?
Yeah, and I am on the train that Scott is going to survive. I will go no further than that because my factor of fiction will deal with some possibilities of end results for this, some theories. I don't believe Scott's going to die. I don't. I think something else is going to happen though.
We'll find out.
Yep.
So soon.
Great shot. I just wanted to pause on this one because man, this is just that's pure King Comics right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, February 17th, the dynasty begins here, the march of, as we head towards Secret Wars. But, man, this was another one, it wasn't going to be appropriate to put a quote-unquote MCU funny tag at the end of the trailer, but we've now...
that's never stopped them before, to be fair.
Never stopped them before, but for now 2 trailers of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, that is known to be kind of funny, and they started off the last one being funny. They didn't end the last one with any kind of funny tag, nor did they end this one with a funny tag. They are trying to set this up as this is going to be a very different movie. This is going to bring Ant-Man out of the comedy and bring kind of a drama action going on.
I hope the credit scene is better than the ant playing the drums that we got at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Just going to put that out there.
That is a hint towards my factor fiction of what
oh my gosh, no.
It will not be that. Now we could do my factor fictions this week just to put them out there, and if you want to punt till and I can do 2 back to back, and you want to do 2 back to back, what do you want to feel?
Or we can just swap weeks, and you can, if you want to do yours this week. Mine are not directly Ant-Man related, and they will all still be they should all still be relevant, barring some massive news somehow. For next week. So if your Ant-Man ones are ready to go, let's just fit it with the theme. I think it's more appropriate to do it tonight.
All right. We'll get them to factor fiction when we get to that segment. So I'll go 2 weeks in a row. Brent will go 2 weeks in a row. It'll be fun. So
yeah, whatever works.
Yep. All right. So
we did have a question.
Yes.
From Omari Daniels, specifically related to Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. It says mostly speculation, but based on how Quantumania is looking so far, do you think we get to this point with the Ant-Man films if Edgar Wright had still directed the first movie?
I think it wouldn't have been as quote-unquote slapsticky.
No.
Not anywhere close. I think it'd be funny on a different level, but I think we could have gotten here, but it would have been more... if anything, darker comedy than
Mm-hmm.
anything. So
I was thinking about this question. To me, I think the biggest thing that would be different at this point, like I think we still get to Quantumania.
yeah,
I do think we can still get to that. I don't think Edgar Wright though is closing out an Ant-Man trilogy. I don't think that. And Peyton Reed
yeah.
is about to become only the second director to do a true MCU trilogy.
Yeah.
Okay, John Watts was the Spider-Man movies are the first one. James Gunn will do it later this year, but the way it worked out, Peyton Reed's going to be number 2 at this. I don't think Edgar Wright gets to that point. So that I feel like that I don't. To me, I always felt like he was a one and done kind of director. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but in this case, with the Marvel machine, that's what I'm thinking.
I could see that. I could see that being one and done in the sense of like he's very much an auteur in his own right. I've loved his other films that he's done at that point. He's one to always kind of take it to a different level, to not do the same thing over and over again. So I could see him also being one and done. I don't think you're totally wrong with that. Let's take our first ad break. I know we got a couple more. We got another question for All in the Game, and we got a few more Ant-Man things to deal with, but we're coming up to that 30-minute limit. All right, guys, ladies and gents, as you know, these ads help keep the lights on in the Geek Ultimate Alliance network. We don't get to choose what ads come on, and they can be a bit loud, so give it that 3 count before they come on. 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back. And we are back. So what's All in the Game asking? I see him in the chat.
So All in the Game said, can this Ant-Man movie crack 800 million worldwide?
I think yes. And the reason I think yes, it's going to be on the shoulders of Jonathan Majors.
I would like to abstain from answering this question because that would tie into one of my Fact or Fictions that I'll do next week. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and say that I do think it's possible with an asterisk, and I would like to just leave that for right there.
That's fine.
I'll go further next week.
That's fine. Yeah, I think the word of mouth of this movie, I mean, people say, well, that's any movie. I think this one, just because Ant-Man itself has not, I think it has a possibility. I think it's going to be very much, just because Ant-Man is not both of them were very successful movies, but obviously lower end of the box office for it. But the way they're framing this and the way the hype is like, oh, this is going to be a very different movie. This is not like what we've seen from Ant-Man. This is there. Like I said, it's going to be based on the shoulders. I mean, not to knock Paul Rudd. I'm just saying how Jonathan Majors is going to be seen in this with the word on the street. If it's going to be as menacing at that point, saying, oh my gosh, you got to see it. And then say what you want. That post-credit scene may really be also a thing for people to come out and see exactly what they're setting up.
Yeah, and I'd have to look it up, but if I remember right, Ant-Man and the Wasp did have a decent little bump over the first Ant-Man movie.
It did, yeah.
And a lot of people would attribute that to people slept in the first movie. They saw him in Captain America Civil War, and then they're like, well, let me go watch more with this guy. He had a good showing. Ant-Man had a good showing in Avengers Endgame. And could turn around into this. But go ahead.
Can you look up what the Ant-Man and the Wasp made?
Yeah, let me do that.
So but it's going to be very interesting. That's why I'm curious to see exactly what it made for final budget total.
All right. Ant-Man 1, for the record, 518 million. And Ant-Man 2, 623. So yeah, it popped up over an extra 100 million after his turn with Civil War.
Okay, I will say it has a possibility of cracking it. Right now, tickets are going on sale on Monday. Pre-sale tickets are going on sale on Monday. Mm-hmm. Right now, without seeing what those numbers are going to be like and anything like that, my initial number will be 750.
Okay. Interesting.
I say
write that down and remember it next week for me. I'm writing it down for you.
Yep, write it down, yes. So a couple more things for Ant-Man and the Wasp before we head on to some other news. Fandango has listed Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania at 2 hours and 5 minutes, which, as always, includes credits.
And it's the longest Ant-Man movie.
It is the longest Ant-Man movie, not by much. 1 hour and 57 minutes, 1 hour 58 minutes, respectively. The For comparison, the 2022 MCU films, Multiverse of Madness was 2 hours and 6 minutes, Thor Love and Thunder was 1 hour and 59 minutes, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever was 2 hours 41 minutes. You and I have got this kind of, a lot of us got that. Why are we sticking with this 2 hour around limit? I get from a business perspective, extra viewings. I don't like it if we're sacrificing for the story, particularly what this film is setting up.
I will give final judgment on that after seeing the movie. But as of right now, I would have liked to have heard 215, 220, something like that. You can make, I think, a pretty strong argument that where it maybe worked for Doctor Strange, a few more minutes maybe wouldn't have been a bad thing. And with Thor Love and Thunder, honestly, I probably... some people tell you they didn't want another minute of that because they didn't like it. I liked it quite a bit, but I think they could have improved it a fair amount with like another 20 minutes or so onto it. I think it could have really been something closer to the scale of Ragnarok there in quality, which it just, I mean, for me, it's behind Ragnarok, but I don't know.
I'm very curious to see what Peyton says on the interview circuit if someone's going to ask him about the runtime or.
I mean, he's going to tell you it's the time that he wanted. He's going to tell you it's the time that he wanted. And the thing is, like, I think the runtime worked for the first two Ant-Man movies, but he has talked about wanting a bigger scale movie, right? And which I think we can all agree this is, even though they're technically going small into the Quantumverse, but like the scope of the movie is much bigger.
See what you did there.
And so we will see. I'm not ready to declare it, a farce. It's no good. It's not going to make it. This movie's going to bomb because it's totally in shambles. Nothing like that. But knowing what I know today, I would have preferred a little bit longer runtime.
Yep. And the last thing that came out, and Twitter being Twitter and the social medias, some minor reshoots are actually occurring for this movie or have already occurred. Mm-hmm. And it from what it's being said, additional photography is always a given. But from what is being seen on the sets, it doesn't look like anything is more like just small little pickups to kind of fix during some things that they're doing in editing at that point. Yes, it's very close to almost a month out at that point, but because I think these were just a couple of days, these don't seem to be kind of altering story. It just seems to be kind of plugging some holes and finishing up some things that were needed to be done because of editing.
Well, again, if you do reshoots, you're obviously a mess, so it's in shambles. Yep. But the one report I saw talked about how basically Scott is wearing the same clothes he wore like in the beginning of the first trailer, like when he got called Spider-Man. So the expectation or the speculation is that it's more shots like that, which are not going to be nearly as VFX heavy, so they could get them done and finished in time to slot into the movie.
Yeah. So again, we will. This will more than likely be our last time breaking down a trailer. Tickets are going on sale on Monday, so Brent and I will be buying our tickets for that Thursday night for February 16th.
It is the plan.
Yep. All right, so let us head to the couple of news items. Brent, why don't you take the first one?
Sure. So first up, what we have here is Angela Bassett has won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Obviously that's a big, huge deal for her, but for Marvel as well, because it's the first time that they've won an award like this for one of their performers, for one of the people in front of the camera, not one of the technical stuff, if you will. And so, I don't follow the award circuit, but I do think it's pretty cool. It's nice to see Marvel getting some recognition here. And those people who were calling for her to get the supporting actress Oscar after her amazing performance, let's be clear, they're just been emboldened by this. They're like, see, like the train has started. It's moving that way. You know what? I hope she gets it. If she doesn't, so be it. But she absolutely turned in a fantastic performance. So in my opinion, she's certainly deserving.
Yeah, and we said it during our review. I mean, just the speech she gives, again, talking to Okoye, that is her. If they're not, I didn't watch the Golden Globes either at that point, but if, I know with the Oscars, they always give like a little clip for kind of the big nominees, including all the actresses, picture, all that kind of stuff. That better be the clip they use, because that just shows the power of
Absolutely. It's
Angela
got to be.
Bassett.
It's got to be.
It is her calling card for this, and she was turned in an amazing performance. Yes, say what you say about what's gone on in the Golden Globes and the Hollywood Foreign Press, everything like that, but still, she earned this. No one's saying like, oh, they bought and paid for this. Like, I don't think there's not one person who said that could come back and say like, no, this is one they earned. So congratulations, Marvel. Congratulations, Angela Bassett. You definitely. I'm looking forward to hopefully maybe getting that Oscar. So.
We'll find out soon enough.
We'll find out soon enough, a couple weeks. So, all right. So let's head into kind of a very Doctor Strange focused 2 news items. So. These are rumor mill. We're now entered into the rumor mill segment.
Yep.
Nothing is confirmed by any stretch of the imagination.
Get out your salt. Yep.
Yeah, get out your salt. So the first one, Doctor Strange 3, possibly coming much earlier than many of us thought. So this is coming from insider Jason Kane. He goes by Great Phase on Twitter. In a tweet, he claimed that 2026 will include Doctor Strange 3, Kang Dynasty, and the Eternal sequel. They are exploring moving Avatar 4 up to November or delayed back a year
That
to
is
give
piss
Secret
off Cameron
Wars
so much.
to give Secret Wars December instead of pushing it to May 2027. Big Screen Leaks supported this certain details of this rumor, saying, just heard this as well, not sure about Derrickson returning though. So Scott Derrickson first directed 2016's Doctor Strange and was expected to helm the second one before they parted ways due to the old line creative differences, and Sam Raimi took over for Multiverse of Madness. Multiple sources are reporting that Doctor Strange 3, sooner than later, there are currently no untitled release slots ahead of Avengers Kang Dynasty. So therefore, if Marvel intends to squeeze in Doctor 3 or any other MCU films ahead of Avengers 5, delays would be necessary, as these rumors suggest.
I mean, first up, same reaction I always have when they need to delay something. If they need it, do it. If you need to delay something, do it. I will tell you, for me personally, the movie I would want them delaying for to get a sequel in would be Shang-Chi, with who's directing King Dynasty. I don't know how that would really be. I still don't know how that would be possible, assuming Cretton would direct it again. But if Derrickson comes back for this, I think it's an interesting story, considering he was on Multiverse of Madness and then left. But maybe he really did leave amicably, no, we really are good. It's just this isn't the project. Maybe down the road, they always say hopefully we can work together in the future,
too much
right?
For him. He can't do it.
But maybe they really did mean maybe we can work together in the future. I don't know. I'm open to it. All things being equal, give me the choice right now. Having seen them both tackle Doctor Strange, I think I would prefer Raimi. I think just his style suits the craziness and the wackiness of Doctor Strange a little more. But who knows? Maybe Derrickson would go more out there as well if for a second outing versus what he did in the first one.
Yeah, like you said, it makes it it'll be an interesting story if this does come true, that it's not going to be Raimi directing the third one. It's going to be the one for the first one, Derrickson. Depending on, like, we've heard different rumors in the sense of, like, they left, creative differences, but maybe what Marvel Studios, aka Kevin Feige and the team, wanted this movie to kind of be about was not something that he wanted to do. I mean, I believe we heard that his pitch for the villain was going to be Nightmare, I believe. So
that was certainly the rumors going around.
So again, I really enjoyed Multiverse Madness. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. Would I be disappointed if he doesn't come back for the third one and Derrickson? Yeah, partly at that point. But again, the service of the story, it's going to be, again, Kevin Feige's gone on record saying, basically Doctor Strange is kind of, quote unquote, kind of the leader of this kind of phase with the multiverse saga for obvious reasons.
And for all we know, Raimi just said, I'll do one. I don't want to do multiple. Maybe he just said he wanted to do one and is holding to that. I don't know. That's pure speculation. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, exactly. And so if so, Avengers 5, maybe possibly 6, wouldn't be the only MCU projects pushed back at that point. You and I have gone on record many times. If it's going to bring us quality products, delay.
Yeah.
Put this in there at that point.
I genuinely don't care. Genuinely don't care. I would rather wait for it to be better than have them put it out before they think it's ready.
Yep, and Cumberbatch has said, his really exciting future with Doctor Strange, and he's got a lot more adventures that he wants to have with him.
Yes.
So. All right, so the final story of the night, again, Doctor Strange related. How about a spinoff of Doctor Strange?
Is it Wong? It's got to be Wong, right?
It'll definitely involve Wong.
This is coming. Wong CU. So.
Yeah, this is coming from two sources. First one, according to a rumor from Tales of the Mod Q in the Reddit forum, Marvel Spoilers Reddit forum, a Strange Academy adaptation could be coming to the MCU as a Disney Plus series. Now, it gets more interesting. Like, according to the mods team's trusted sources, say a show based on Strange Academy comics is really much in high development, would presumably release on Disney Plus, and would star our boy Wong,
of course,
America Chavez,
yes,
and additionally Zelma Stanton, who will be reportedly introduced in the Ironheart show.
Interesting.
So, the Cosmic Circus is shared a rumor indicating that the reported Strange Academy Disney Plus series will have heavy ties to 2025's Avengers Kang Dynasty. The rumor notes and the blog notes that this show will be one of the most important tie-in stories ahead of the Kang Dynasty, connecting multiple areas of the MCU outside of the supernatural. So, that's going to be very interesting. Like, we've had Disney Plus shows, but we haven't, calling it the most important Disney Plus show as we head into the Kang Dynasty.
So I've never actually read Strange Academy. The sounds of it, to me, it sounds like the X-Men, but for magic, which, if that's even close to what it is, okay, that's cool. I'm into it. I remember thinking after Multiverse of Madness came out, it'd be cool to get like a Wong and American Chavez show of him training her, and we would get that in this. So yeah, sign me up. This sounds great. More Wong, all the better. I think the real question is that everybody really wants to know the answer to: is Madison going to be in it? Like, that's the real question, right? Because people, I think, will riot.
Madison with 2 D's and 1 Y, but not where you think.
Not where you think, yeah.
Oh, man, I've been seeing that meme of her talk about, well, first it was fun, then it was scary, then it was fun again, but scary, but in a fun way.
Yes,
seeing that going around lately. But yeah, you're right. It is, in a very simple kind of layman's terms, yes, it's kind of like X-Men, but with sorcerers at that point. A school training new sorcerers at Carmartage. In this case, Wong will be doing the training, being the Sorcerer Supreme. And, I want to see more of, America Chavez, and see her training and see her kind of rise up and learning how to understand her powers. So, this sounds a lot of fun. We already know we're in the Wong CU right now. It's Wong's universe. We're just living in it.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, we'll check this out. I'm here for it at that point. And, but yeah, so that's all the news that we're going to be going over this week. So let's take our final ad break before we get into, listener feedback, Factor Fictions. We've got our winner for Comic Book Club. It was a close one. So we'll go over those results. So as you know, listeners, these ads help keep the lights on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. We don't get to choose what ads come on. They can be a bit loud and give you that 3 count before they come on. 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back. And we are back. So, did we have any more questions coming in this week, Brent?
No, just stuff about Ant-Man earlier.
Gotcha. All right. So, let me pull up the Factor Fictions from last week. Right here they are. All right. Number 1. The MCU won't have another movie earning $1 billion until Kang Dynasty and/or Secret Wars. This one was closer than I expected. 48% said fact, 52% said fiction.
Okay.
Number 2, before the end of Phase 6, we will have only one sequel special presentation. 67% said fact, 33% said fiction. And number 3, this one was surprising. I thought everyone was going to lean into saying I was crazy. Despite all circumstantial evidence pointing to him dying, Rocket will actually live at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. 55% said fact, 45% said fiction. One hopes. One hopes, right?
One, yeah.
All right. So I appreciate you letting me defer to me this week for the Quantumania focused one. So here's my first one. We will see more than one Kang variant in Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Fact. I think we will. It might be part of a history lesson or something like that, but I think we will see at least one additional variant.
Yep, that's why I kind of left it broad. I didn't say like another version of Jonathan Majors at that point, but yeah, history lesson would count. History lesson would count. Yeah, I'm a fact as well. All right. At least one of the main cast of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania will be stuck in the quantum realm at the end of the movie.
Before I answer, who's considered the main cast?
Scott, Cassie, Hope, Janet, and Hank. I mean, Kang too, but I've talked about like just the Ant-Man family.
Fiction.
Fiction, okay.
I wanted to know if you were including Hank and Janet, but well, I'm going to say fiction because they've already done it. They've already done it.
Okay. I say it's going to be fact, and I think it's going to be Scott. I know they've already done it, but I think it's going to be Scott.
Dirty. Okay.
He won't die, but he will be stuck there.
Will there be is there going to be a rat who helps him get out?
Yeah, we got to get that mulligan, don't we? So, all right, and last, post credits. We will see our first post credit scene in an MCU movie for a Disney Plus show with this film.
Say it again.
We will see our first post-credit scene in an MCU movie for a Disney Plus film for a Disney Plus show in this movie.
So do you mean like a character or a clip, or just something from a post-credit scene in one of the movies leading into the Disney Plus show?
Yes, we will. Yeah, what you just said there. Like, it's not a clip, but it's this post-credit scene will be leading into. In this case, what I'm leading towards is Loki season 2.
Because I'm wondering how you feel about the Black Widow credit scene leading into Hawkeye, where we see
Don't Call Her
Val send Yelena after.
Okay,
after
you're
Hawkeye.
right. You're right.
You could say another, but to me that one leads to the Disney Plus show.
And that one, yeah, you got me there. But good thing. So I'll have to alter that. So we will see another.
That's why I asked you to reread it. I thought, no, maybe I misheard it.
Nope, you heard it right. So we will see a post-credit scene that basically leads to, and I'll structure it. We're going to see one that leads into Loki season 2.
Okay. Interesting, because I have one potentially about Loki season 2. Okay. We still don't know when that comes out yet. So
I'm sensing summer.
We might be down to just Ant-Man, maybe Ant-Man and Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
But it wouldn't... I don't see it fitting with Guardians thematically, where it would fit great with Ant-Man. You know what? Fact. Let's will this one into existence. We'll go fact.
I'm gonna go fact. I'm gonna say that post credits is gonna be again just as building at that point, and again getting people's get those subs on Disney Plus. Wait a minute, what's this? What's Owen Wilson doing here? Why is Loki here? Who are these people?
I mean, yeah, tie it all together.
I'm just helping out, Iger here. You don't have to pay me too much at that point.
Iger.
I'm helping out Iger with these lovely ideas, Feige.
Maybe you should have helped out Chapek a little bit, but that's all right.
No, I don't want to help out Bad Bob. Sorry, Bad Bob made his own boat. Not my Bob.
Not my Bob. Hashtag not my Bob.
All right, so I will post those on Sunday afternoon, so let your voices be heard. And all right, let us move to Comic Book Club. So what do we have in chat? I see All in the Game popping up in there.
Game says the roughly $865 million average of the 3 2017 MCU movies before Black Panther and Infinity War came out should be the aim for the non-Avengers movies now without China and Russia.
Not fair. I like that.
I think that's reasonable. Like, people do need to remember China and Russia, they're not there. I mean, most people didn't talk about Russia being a powerhouse for it, but China, absolutely. So, I mean, it's a very fair point.
A very fair point. So, all right. So, comic book club, we had 4 choices for y'all to vote on at that point, and it was basically down to the wire. The 4 choices were Maximum Carnage, Back in Black, Spider-Verse, and Ultimate Comics Spider-Man, the first arc of Miles Morales. So again, Spider-Man is our theme, and basically coming down to the wire, and basically it was almost a 4-way tie with this, and what it came down to is what Anthony DC Outlaw wanted. We will be looking at Spider-Verse.
There it is.
The vote basically as Maximum Carnage, Back in Black, Miles Morales. Maximum Carnage, Back in Black were 24% of the vote. Miles Morales got 23% of the vote. Spider-Verse got 29% of the vote.
I was curious. I'll be honest. Spider-Verse is not the one I thought was going to win, but I'm totally game for it. I like who's involved with that one.
So again, this will encompass Amazing Spider-Man 9 through 15, Spider-Verse 1 through 2. If you have Marvel Unlimited, they have it in the reading order that we'll be going in at that point, which will start off with Amazing Spider-Man number 9. And for those of you that have not read it, I'll give you the brief synopsis. When the evil inheritors begin exterminating spider characters throughout the multiverse, every single Spider-Man ever is needed to save the day. An interdimensional spider army gathers to fight Morlun and his deadly family, but none of them is safe as the prophecy comes to fruition. What will the brutal war for survival mean for Peter Parker and the rest of the spiders? Starring Superior Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Jessica Drew, Spider-Man 2099, Spider-Woman, Silk, Kane, Scarlet Spider, MC2, Spider-Girl, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man 1602, Spider-Ham, Spider-Monkey, Lady Spider, Spider-Punk, Spider-UK, a Spider-Power Gwen Stacy, and hundreds more from the beloved Spider-Verse.
So, and then just to reiterate, we're not doing all the tie-ins and everything.
Correct.
It's just the Amazing Spider-Man issues, 9 through 15, and then the Spider-Verse titled 1 and 2. Don't confuse this with the, I think it said it was from 2019 Spider-Verse miniseries that came out. This event was from 2014, so you're looking for that year, that one. And as far as the Inheritors go, this won't be the first time we've talked about the Inheritors.
No, it is not.
Nope. I had to look it up. On World's Finest True Believers, we talked about Morlun's introduction, his first arc.
Yes.
That episode dated February 1st, 2021. So it's been a couple years, but
if you got on the GUA network feed at that point, all you
go far enough back, I guess.
You could just do a little simple search at that point. Simple search like that. Find it like that. All right. So that's what we'll be reading next week. Amazing Spider-Man from 2014, number 9, part 1 of Spider-Verse. So again, glad you got congratulations, DC. Glad you got what you wanted.
And I personally, I'm a fan of Dan Slott, so I'm totally game.
Awesome. So, all right, let us conclude Marvel Zombies number 5. So, this issue, I'm just saying, met all my expectations for what I want in a final issue of this wacky story. What about you, Brent?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Basically with where it left off at the end of the previous issue, our heroes, I guess we can call them. They're all juiced up on Silver Surfer's power
protagonists. We'll call them protagonists.
Our protagonists, thank you. And they're going after the big one. They're going after Galactus. Yes, we did get another great Galactus splash page, as we always call out. But it's just, I love seeing them just go to town on this guy. Like, how excited they all are. Like, the heroes and the villains, they're all just like, we can eat for years on this guy. And I'm like, surely it would rot at some point. But what do I know? I don't know how the decomposing states of Galactus. But it's just so much fun to see them taking him down.
Well, especially when like even before that, the heroes, the protagonists and the villains fighting each other at that point. You get some, basically Wolverine putting his one good arm that's left into Juggernaut's mouth, using his new Silver Surfer powers to pop his head off.
Yes.
That was entertaining. Red Skull versus Colonel Captain America, and him basically saying, "Oh, you got your one weakness," and he goes in and pulls out his brains because half his skull is exposed at that point.
A lot of good it did him.
Yeah, a lot of good it did him at that point. And yeah, and like you said, they end up defeating the villains, and they end up, Galactus is one to say like, "Oh, you dare threaten me? No mortal can threaten Galactus." And basically, they're like, "Oh, really? Let's open you up and find out."
And just a gruesome page. It's like it's shown as a double page spread, but the whole right half of it is basically like a what is that, like a 16 panel grid of just the zombie Avengers eating him and biting into him and
They,
just vicious.
I got one for you. They devour the devourer.
Well done, well done. It was right there, and I missed it. Way to go!
You missed it. But I like the as we move to the next page. At that point, we go to 5 years later, and the Acolytes, Forge, Black Panther are down on Earth, and what they have discovered is that it's abandoned. The quote unquote Marvel zombies are no longer there, and I love we get the head of Janet Van Dyne. Looks to be her. She's been quote unquote cured of her hunger, and they've been designed a kind of a suit for her to kind of walk around.
Yeah, I would like, I'm like, what more? What did they do with her, right? Like, I know I read the next Marvel Zombies. I don't really remember it that well, but regardless, it's funny looking. But then I just remember Black Panther throwing her as a weapon in the previous one, and I'm like, that's funnier still. That's still the funniest gag of the whole thing.
Finally, you're right. That is good. We see Black Panther looks to be either, I don't know if they've married, but definitely had a child with one of the acolytes.
Well, I guess slim pickings. You go with who's available, and the King of Wakanda. That's a pretty good choice.
It's a pretty good choice at that point, but also I'm also one of the ones that's questioning, saying, you're bringing the baby down when you haven't yet confirmed if those zombies are still there.
Yeah, that's stupid. You've got to think one of them should hang back with the baby.
I mean, they even call it, it's like, should just stay? No, it'll be okay, totally okay. We got this. But then we flash to another world, an alien world, and they're thinking Galactus is coming. We don't have much time. Oh, someone's coming. It's just the galactivized Marvel zombies of Giant Man, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Wolverine, and Hulk getting ready to devour this world.
Yes, excellent. Excellent end to an excellent series.
Yes, so Marvel Zombies, there were many other sequels to this. One could say, and I would agree with him, diminishing returns as it went forth. Yeah. However, I will give a shout out. It is not collected in what is the reprint of the Marvel Zombie Bus. Wasn't in the original. Marvel Zombies versus Army of the Dead.
Oh, I never read that one.
Yes, that's a fun one. So again, Sam Raimi fan, love seeing Ash. It's fun seeing Ash go against the Marvel Zombies. It was a fun, very very fun. That was an uptick for what was diminishing returns. But yeah, this was fun. I really enjoy the Marvel Zombies series. It's Robert Kirkman, Sean Phillips. Again, Walking Dead. Can't go wrong.
The man knows his zombies, and
he does.
Yeah, I mean, sure, The Walking Dead zombies is better, but this is so much fun. This is one of those events that, like, they're not trying to be like, high art or any nonsense like that. They're just saying, let's have fun with this out there concept, and I think it's mission accomplished.
And especially just how they introduced it based in the Ultimate Comics line, how this all came about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you're led to believe it's the 616, and then you find out, oh, no, it's very much not.
Anything but. But hope you all enjoyed that. But as I said, Amazing Spider-Man from 2014, number 9 is where we're going to start our journey through Spider-Verse. So read along with us, all Marvel Unlimited. You can find some of the trade collections in Comixology. There is an older oversized hardcover of Spider-Verse. There is an omnibus coming out, remapping it, putting some issues that weren't in the original in there. So again, we got the Spider-Verse movie coming out. Brent and I are all about having some synergy and some timeliness. So
yes,
the listeners be heard. So all right, 146 in the books. Thank you all as always for joining us. Brent, tell people how they can follow you.
Yeah, Brentech Prime on Twitter, on TikTok. That's where I hang out for the socials.
Awesome. And yes, we want to thank OPB Organic Price Books as our sponsor. Use that code MarvelGUA at checkout to get $2 off every single order. We want to thank them again. You can follow me on Twitter at Finest Believers. You can follow me on Twitter at Chris Ballaghy. You can follow my other show, World's Finest True Believers, at Finest Believers. You can follow this show on Twitter at Marvel 8 Podcast. You can email the show at marvelalliancepodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to tweet, email if you want to provide feedback, fact or fiction, to ask questions. My DMs are open. Brent's DMs are open. The show's DMs are open. Let us know. Email us that, but we got plenty of different ways to communicate with us. Continue to rate Marvel Alliance Solo Feed, the GUA Network feed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, all the podcatchers. We greatly appreciate it. Again, remember, the GUA crossover event, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on the Geekverse YouTube channel, going live. Patrons can join in after a little bit of time. We look forward to that. Thank you all for joining us live in the chat. Hope you enjoyed the trailer breakdown. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe out there, everyone. And as Stan the Man would say, Excelsior, true believers. All right, post credits. If you're watching on YouTube, I've changed the background. We got some Hulk discussion going on. Brent, who is being hinted at coming back that is Hulk related?
So I'm officially deleting this out of my fact or fiction pull list that I've come up with. Liv Tyler to return as Betty Ross is something I've just been sitting on for months at this point. Whatever, it can go. It's basically the rumor is they're still working towards a World War Hulk movie, and Liv Tyler's Betty Ross will make an appearance.
Yeah, I mean, all these different rumored projects. I mean, again, we don't have many projects in Phase 6 that have been confirmed outside of Fantastic Four, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars. Has anything else been confirmed?
Not off the top of my head.
I don't think so. So there's a lot of projects, possibly Disney Plus and otherwise, being put in this one, in this World War Hulk. Again, we know, for those that need a refresher, Brent, you are the expert when it comes to this thing. What is with the Hulk rights?
So it's been questioned, but it was reiterated and reconfirmed by Marvel themselves. I want to say it was Nate Moore around the time Black Panther: Wakanda Forever came out, because this applies to Namor as well. Universal has the distribution rights for these movies, for Hulk movies. Basically, Hulk titled projects where like Hulk is the protagonist. She-Hulk on Disney Plus was an interesting legal thing because that basically confirmed that they could do a Hulk-centered show, because she's obviously going to want to be considered one of the Hulk characters on television or for streaming. But at least as of Wakanda Forever coming out just a few months ago, they didn't have the ability to do this. So
yeah,
what I don't like, my first question is, was that deal forever? Or is there an expiration date on it? And I don't know the answer to that. Like,
we've heard more rumors recently that there's an expiration date on this.
Right. Sony with Spider-Man, as long as they keep making movies, it's forever, right? Fox with the X-Men was the same way. Was it Fox who did the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie? Basically, they didn't do anything with that character after that movie. Whoever had it, I want to say it was Fox.
I think
they let it lapse, and so that went back to Marvel, which is why we got the Daredevil TV show. I like the movie, but it was an upgrade, no matter what people say. But I don't know about Hulk. Like, that's my biggest question about this: is are these rights about to? I would love them for them to do so, because Ruffalo, in my opinion, deserves a solo project at this point. And I don't think it's super feasible for him to have a show. I mean, yes, I know we did She-Hulk, but the look of Ruffalo, I probably cost a bit more money to put him on screen than it does the character design for Jen Walters. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But regardless, I love the idea.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this is again rumor coming from the Marvel Studios spoilers subreddit at that point, from Tales of the Mod Q. This is coming from them, but we've seen in the past, I don't think we've gone maybe a month without getting some sort of story, whether it be related to the Hulk rights, to World War Hulk, something like. I mean, they're every single month we seem to be getting more and more smoke to this. Liv Tyler's name mentioned, not only just getting World War Hulk, but hearing the rumors surrounding it. It's not just her coming back for World War Hulk. There's at least one more project that they're not talking about that she is possibly linked to as well. Again, you and I, we've done our review of The Incredible Hulk. And we both said it there. This movie gets thought about more in higher thought in rankings than it was at the time. And I think that's a testament to people looking back at what the movie was about, what it was set up. And again, even though we don't have Edward Norton as our continued version of Hulk, it's still a very good movie. And I think if you haven't given it a shot, check it out again. But Liv Tyler did a good job as Betty. I mean, was it the most amazing performance in the world? No, not necessarily.
Incredible
someone's come in.
Hulk is one of the most underrated films in the comic book genre.
It's been a while, sir.
Look who's barging in. This guy, you run the place, you think you just do what you want.
Got
Here's the thing
Hulk.
with Edward Norton aside. If Liv Tyler came back, in my opinion, she would be the last of the major characters from the Incredible Hulk movie to reprise the role. Obviously, we know why Edward Norton's not going to, but we still have Bruce Banner. But William Hurt, of course, came back in Civil War. Tim Roth showed up in Shang-Chi and then in She-Hulk. Tim Blake Nelson is going to be making an appearance in Captain America New World Order. I guess if you want to talk about Ty Burrell from Modern Family, but to me, I don't consider him one of the majors. I don't think he was one of the major characters, but I mean, maybe. I mean, he played Leonard, right? Leonard Sampson, perhaps, but
yeah.
I want them to do it. Like, this movie was treated as the redheaded stepchild for so long. I remember like posters for the Avengers. They're all like, from the studio that brought you the rest of Phase 1, and they left off and I know, I get why they did it. It just always was funny to me because, I mean, you're right. They didn't do it. Like, distribution stuff. On the game says, is Universal not seeing how much money Sony's making working with Disney? There's a big difference here in that Sony had something to offer with Spider-Man. Universal doesn't have jack to offer. If they do World War Hulk, they're just going to call it like Avengers World War Hulk or something like that and get around the naming conventions and say it's an Avengers movie and that's just a subtitle. And that way they can still do it if the rights or distribution is still tied up with it. And then you don't make Hulk the actual protagonist. And like in World War Hulk, he was kind of like an invader, right? Like he was basically trying to take over the earth, make him the villain of the movie, I guess. I don't know how you get Bruce Banner to that point at this point. Like where we're at now, I don't know how you get him to that point, but I'm into it. I love the idea. I would love a true and proper Hulk sequel. So one way or the other, I hope they do it.
Yeah, though it's going to be a lot of fun again. Even if like this other project, if it's not just World War Hulk she's supposedly going to be involved in, okay, she can have a quick cameo. Her father's technically the president now in New World Order.
That's right.
She could be walking through the White House at that point. So
I was just thinking about that today. It's so funny that if Liv Tyler, which I do think, I've been calling for years that she's going to come back at some point, but it's funny that when she comes back, she's going to be playing opposite of Bruce Banner. That's not the Bruce Banner that was in her movie with Mark Ruffalo. And then she's going to be playing opposite her dad, which is no longer
not her dad.
Not her dad.
So it's like her two biggest links to that film are they're not the same person anymore, you know? So, and plus I guarantee you, I got a big scoop here that Ty Burrell, he's being saved for Secret Wars. That's when he's coming.
Yeah. Who do you want to see him? Who do you want to see him like team up with? Who's your, we've got our, we've got our Logan and Spider-Man.
Thomas Jane's Punisher and Ty Burrell. They're going to be one of the teams together. I mentioned that because in Canada, really randomly, Punisher from 2004 was like trending on Netflix at number 9. I'm like,
oh, okay.
There's things enough I like it, but who are all the people watching this movie specifically to make it the 9th trending movie on all Netflix in Canada, just in Canada, but still, who's watching 2004's Punisher this much in January? I don't know, but people are dying for Thomas Jane. They're dying for Ty Burrell.
I have not seen that movie in so long. And now I'm just trying to picture the Thomas Jane Punisher and the Ben Affleck Daredevil together. Doesn't. It's not the same. I'm into it, but it's not the same.
Do we somehow bring back John Travolta from the Thomas Jane?
You have to. You have to. He's like the best part of it.
Why would you not? Why would you not?
No, you got to
Come
have
on.
a portal scene where Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, Dolph Lundgren, and John Bernthal all ride out on a motorcycle with Ty Burrell in the back just to kick some butt, you know?
There
and
you
maybe
go.
World War Hulk. It's going to happen there.
Yeah,
I'm into it.
there you
I'm
go.
into it.
Well, we've already made your movie, Kevin Feige. We've got some ideas. Just
course.
pay us now. We're not too terribly expensive.
The green
but-
print.
Well, as always, nice seeing you, Travis. At that
Yes,
point, thanks for
thanks.
breaking in. We'll see you all next week. Y'all take care. Bye bye.